Hey folks, it's Ian Baker, the product specialist here at American RV in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Today we're going to do kind of a basic beginner video talking a little bit about black tanks, some basic maintenance, and how to properly care for it when you're at the campground. To start off, I have a couple props here with me. One of them is this one here is Thetford Aquachem. They have a couple different brands of toilet chemicals out there. This is something you want to make sure you pour down your toilet basically every time before you go camping. This does a couple different things for you. One, it will help that smell from coming back up. You know, it essentially is a holding tank. The last thing in the world you want is to have those gases come up. So by pouring this down there, it helps eliminate that smell. The other thing it also does is helps break down some of the material in there with the enzymes that are in here, breaks down your toilet tissue, which I'll get to in just a second as well. So very important to pour this in. Most of them are basically single-use application. You essentially just pour the whole bottle down into your tank, and then you'll want to run some water down in there as well. You know, this one I think has a 1 gallon is about what you want to put in there. So, you know, just hold it down for, you know, a good 10-15 seconds, let some water fill up. Again, that gives you a little bit of a base in the tank, because what you don't want to happen is, you know, you do your business and then it just kind of sits on the bottom of your tank. You want some water already in there. The other thing I want to talk about then leads me to the toilet tissue. So again, this is just the Thetford brand, but this is specific for RV and marine use. What it is, it breaks down a lot faster than your residential toilet paper, and again, as I mentioned, that is important when it's sitting down in your tank. So you do want to make sure this is what you're using, not your residential toilet paper. That will quickly jam up your tank. It'll get stuck in there. You'll have all sorts of issues. So that is quite important. That pretty much wraps it up on the inside, and obviously, you know, you pretty much know how to use your toilet. Most of them these days are a foot flush lever. There are some other toilets out there, some of your higher end things like vacuum flush toilets, but you know, that is not something that I'm going to delve into in this video. But that's pretty much wraps it up for the inside. Let's go take a look at the outside, and we'll look at our termination and our valves. One of the first things you'll want to do is locate your termination. A lot of RVs out there only have a single one, but some of them, especially if they're longer, will have two, because you may have a separate gray tank that drains at a different location. The particular one I'm going to demonstrate on today just has the single one right here, and it's generally pretty identifiable. It'll be like a 3-inch pipe that comes out. You have a little cap here. You know, pretty easy to use. If you have full hookup, essentially what you'll do, you'll unscrew this cap right here. You'll take your sewer hose, hook it up there, and then hook it up into the campsite. Same thing if it is at a dump location. Very similar process. Where the big difference comes in, and the biggest mistake that most people make, is when they have full hookup, they hook up and then they open up their valves. You know, makes sense, right? You just want stuff to flow out and into the ground. That is not what you want to do. As I said, that's generally the biggest mistake people made. If you remember, when we were inside, we put all those chemicals in. We want those to stay in there. So you want to make sure both your black and gray valves here are closed. When they start to fill up and it's time to dump, you'll want to pull your black valve first. That way all of your solid waste comes out and down. Then you'll pull your gray. The reason for that, it kind of helps wash things out a little bit. You know, pull that gray valve, it dumps out, kind of cleans out whatever pipes they may share together. When you're done, again, make sure you close both valves. Then you'll want to add more chemical into your tanks. A lot of RVs today have what they call a black tank flush. This makes it a lot easier. Rather than having to stick the hose down there and worrying about it, you have this right here. It's generally pretty easy to find. It'll be a basic cap, and it'll usually say something about the black tank flush on here and how you actually want to make sure that the valve is open. The reason for it, it has sprayers built in, and you don't have to really fill the tank up. The sprayers will make sure it washes everything off. And the last thing in the world you want is to pressurize that tank with those sprayers and then blow your black tank. So with the black tank flush, make sure that your black valve is open. Then you put your hose right in here, it'll wash it out, let that run for a couple minutes, shut it down, and that way your black tank is nice and clean. It'll help eliminate those smells when you put it away for the season, and it'll also help clean off your sensors to make sure you continue to get accurate readings. All right, folks, that should pretty much cover the basics. Granted, there are some more complex systems out there, some Sanicon systems and other ones with macerator pumps, but this should cover how to dump about 90% of the black tanks out there. As always, thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see ya on the road to freedom.